Compost toilet cleanup day. No, the entire video is not going to be how to clean up a compost toilet. But it does remind me of a story. Anybody that's got cable internet knows that you run into problems. Either there's an outage in the area, or something chewed on your line, or, whatever. And we had a problem. Now, I'm not going to go into exactly what the problem was, because it's completely irrelevant. But I will say I had to call in about it. Now, as usual, when I called in, it was after hours. So needless to say, my call went to a foreign country. Now, the guy that answered the phone was nice enough. He was actually a really cool dude. Had a nice conversation with him. Told him my problem. He took care of it. It was actually really easy. But then we got to talking. As Americans, we went through a lot during COVID. But we tend to forget about what the other countries went through. And some of that went pretty bad for them. Now, this was right in the middle of 2020. And the fella says, "Hey, how are you guys doing over there? With the pandemic and all." And of course, being who I am, I'm thinking my life was worse than anybody else's during that time, right? I said, wasn't too bad, I work at a prison, so, we went under lockdown a couple of times, but overall wasn't so bad. His reply was, "That's great. I'm really happy that it wasn't that bad for you. That's great. I'm glad to hear that." Of course, it was this time that I'm thinking, how'd your year go, man? So I asked him, "How about you? How you doing during this pandemic?" And he said, "Oh, not too bad. It's been a little rough, but we're okay." So that's great to hear. But he says, "I miss my family." So hold on. What do you mean you miss your family? Because, now I'm intrigued. He said, "Well, I haven't been home in 6 months." I'm thinking, okay, did you fly somewhere? Did you travel somewhere? Are you in a hotel? Were you on a trip when it happened? What are these deets, man? Let me know what's up. He said, no, nothing like that. I'm a few blocks from the house. Why aren't you going home? He said, because if I leave, I lose my job. I said, "What's that about?" He said, "Well, these jobs are in high demand around here. If I leave right now, I lose my job." I said, "You or everybody?" He said, "Everybody." I said, "Brother, that ain't right." He said, "It is what it is." Now, it's at this point I should probably tell you, if somebody told me that you can't see your family for 6 months when they're a block away, or you lose your job, I'm going to McDonald's. Now, at this point, I'm starting to feel a little bad for the guy. But then I'm kind of a little bit angry. But he's not angry at all. You see, he says, "It's okay." So he's 2 blocks from home for 6 months, and he can only FaceTime his family. I'm thinking that's kind of rough. Okay, sure, he gets to FaceTime his family. I'm talking wife and 3 kids. This fella's got a family. I told him, I said, "Dude, why are you putting up with that?" He said, "If I leave, I lose my job." I said, "I know. Go find another job." There aren't any. Wrap your head around that. They can't go down to McDonald's. They can't go down to Dollar General and work in a factory. Whatever job they get, that's what they get. They're pretty solid on that. So I asked him, I said, "So how do you shower? How do you eat?" They have a cafeteria. And they share a cubicle with another fella, or, same gender kind of thing. And they're on 12-hour shifts. 12-hour on, 12-hour off. And they sleep in the cubicle on a cot. Has any of this sunk in? Let me clean this up for you. You're at home, boss man a couple of blocks away called you and said, hey, I need you. Okay, boss, I'll be right there. He said, wait, pack things. Okay, I'll pack some things. How long? He said, whatever you can take. It's going to be a while. He packed up. He went to work. That's pretty astonishing to me. At this point, how many of you would have went to work, not knowing how long you were going to be at work, when your boss calls you and says, pack indefinitely? I got to say, I'm probably not one of them. It wasn't long after this I ended that conversation. I had things to do, and he had to get to other customers. See, like anybody else, I get mad when I talk to somebody who has an American job. But what he showed me was, if it weren't for that American job, he'd be living in a hut. Now, some of you might be okay with that. But that's not our country. It's not our problem. Think through that a little bit. But then I thought about compassion and the suffering he's going through by living in these conditions. They're just another day to them. Now, I'm not saying quit your job every time you run into a little bit of adversity. After all, you know what you can put up with and what you can't. Sometimes we can go through more than we think we can. And that's what makes us stronger. So that the next time something happens, it's not as rough. Let me know in the comments below if you like or don't like this kind of format. Because I'm going to tell you, I got a million of these stories. I was a pastor after all. Some of these stories are really exciting. Some of them are heart-wrenching. Some of them are hilarious. But all of them will give you a break from whatever adversity you're currently facing. By all means, if you want to hear some more of this, comment below. Now, if you like that story, smash that like button for me. If you didn't like that story, smash the don't like button twice. And if you're not too bored, hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more coming your way. Now go be awesome.